So without further ado, let's please welcome our Wayhaught panel, Dominique and Catherine. This one's... Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I just realised I had a bit of banana in my hand. I was like, best get rid of it. That was the only way I could see getting rid of it quickly. But
hello, guys.
How are we?
Nice to see you all. I'm getting some flashbacks. So you're getting a few flashbacks.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
It is nice.
My accent has been drifting to Canadian all morning, so it's kind of nice to have you sat next to me so we can just kind of talk normal.
Well, I have been told that I'm losing my British accent, so...
Well, that's sad.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't really think I am, though.
I don't think... No, you're not. So I'm going to ask, kick off with a few questions to start with, but I think it's going to be mostly questions from the floor. But I just want to start with, how did you get involved with Winona Earp? What was those lines that kind of oh, I want to be in this show? How was it described to you?
Well, for me, it wasn't so much that way round.
Okay.
Do you mind if I kick off?
Go for it, yeah, because I think my answer is going to be similar to yours, yeah.
We, as actors, you audition for God knows how many things, and it sometimes is okay, you've got this self-tape for tomorrow, put it on tape, and you're quickly learning the lines and doing it, whatever. I originally auditioned for Winona. That would have been funny, wouldn't it? And did an audition and thought, this is really fun. And it was just a brilliant, badass role. And I was like, this is really fun, but clearly I wasn't very good. I did a deep South accent.
You did? What does that sound like? Can
Not
you
very good.
That?
Not very good. I was like...
Is that what they told you to do? Were they
no.
we want to... No. It's just...
It was a choice.
It was a choice. A good choice.
It was a choice, yeah.
Make a strong choice.
Well, clearly it wasn't that bad. And they asked a long time after, actually, to audition for Waverley.
Right.
And I was going through a really tough time where I hadn't had a job for ages and was eating beans out of a can in London and feeling very sorry for myself and thinking this is never going to happen, I should definitely give this up. And then I auditioned for Waverley, and then it was ages and ages afterwards, and I'd completely forgotten about it. I was actually supposed to go and do a movie in India, which was I was like, yes, I got a job. This is going to be the best thing ever. And I got rid of all of my flat and everything in London and went and moved all my stuff back to my dad's house. And then I got a phone call 2 days before I was supposed to fly saying, oh, Dom, the movie's been cancelled. And I was just like, what? My whole life is just and then my mum was like, you need to come to Montreal. I was sobbing on the phone to her, what am I going to do? She was like, you need to come to Montreal. So I went over to Montreal, and then serendipitously, is that a word?
That is a word.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
I looked at you. But completely, it was the moment that I actually finally let my emotions out to my mum in the park, and I burst out crying. I was like, Mum, can't do this anymore. I just I'm done. I know you think that I can do this, but I do not have the confidence for this. And I broke down in Parc La Fontaine, don't know if anyone's been, underneath a tree. And then I fell asleep. And then, I kid you not, under the tree. 3 minutes later, I get woken up, phone call from my agent, my manager, saying, hey, Dom, do you remember that show, Winona Earp? And I was like, is that really cool, crazy, not really sure what it is, but it's really great. And she was like, yeah, are you in Montreal? Do you want to go to Toronto and meet them? They want you to come and audition for The Sister. And I was like, I think that's a good idea. And then me and my mum went home and just saw if it was feasible in terms of the trains and everything. And then I went to Toronto, took the train to Toronto the next day, and met Mel and Emily. And then... That was it.
Waverley.
Yeah.
Amazing. You've not been in Montreal.
I know. Right? And the thing that's crazy is they were they don't have enough money to pay you to get there, but if you can get there, they'd love to see you. But if you don't have the money, it's okay. Emily can call you and give you notes, and then you can retape the audition. But because I was in Montreal,
It was so much
it was
easier.
like, well, I can take the train, and
There you go.
yeah, so
History was made.
fate,
Fate.
yeah.
Catherine, as good a story? Make it up
We have similar stories, Dom and I. I was having a really, really hard time. I had been out of school for a few years and juggling a bunch of jobs. I was driving an Uber. I was about to go that night to hand out beer samples with an ex of mine. So it was just like not a great day. And yeah, I almost get emotional talking about it because it was just really shitty time.
Yeah.
It was really tough, and I auditioned, same thing. I auditioned for Winona, I auditioned for Waverly, and then, I got the audition for Nicole like on a Tuesday night. I remember rehearsing it and thinking, there's no way I will ever book this. I honestly didn't think I would, and I went in and I did the audition, and then the next day, as I was like, this is so funny. I was on the treadmill, which I'm never on the treadmill, and I'm like, maybe this is a sign I should go to the gym where good things happen when I'm here. I got a phone call, and and they said, my agent said they want to cast you on Winona, but there's 2 conditions. You have to leave for Calgary tomorrow, and you have to dye your hair. I was like, oh, sure, purple, I don't care. And then I went, and then our whole lives kind of changed, and man, I just can't believe that, like, you guys come to see us. I come constantly pinching myself of how lucky we are, and, like, the fact that we love you. It's bizarre, guys. It really is. Yeah.
My last question before I open it up to everyone is actually kind of following on from that. Are you surprised about how the show has been kind of like taken up with, like, did any of you think you'd get past the first season?
Never in a million.
Not that we wouldn't get past the first season, but you never have. I had no idea about cons or this world of, like, fandom or anything like that. I had no idea this even existed.
No, not a clue.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I think it's good, don't you?
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
I wouldn't have wanted to know
right,
about all of this. I just think it would have made it too difficult, you know?
Yeah,
We would have been so in your head about things.
Yeah, can you imagine? We would have been so much more nervous doing everything.
Everything, yeah.
You just kind of...
If you knew how, like, much
Yeah.
Wayhaught was going to kind of, like, take off and just be...
to people,
yeah.
Yeah. But it's brilliant that it does. And it
Yeah.
brings us here, and it's like, off the back of what Kat says, it's just like, I feel like we have a second family that is just like the biggest family of amazing people.
And it's time for that family to ask some questions.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's
So
go
there
for
we
it.
go.
Hear 'em.
So where's the mics? We've got down here, and then I'm going to point. I'm sorry, I know it's rude, but it's the only way to do this. I'm going
Scratch them out
because I was like,
this is really hard to
this
say.
is really hard to say, your surname, so I just scratched those out. You're all-
Hiya.
Hello.
I was wondering if you could change one thing about your character, what would that be?
Ooh, change one thing. God, nothing. I love Waverly so much.
Wow, that's a good first question.
It's a really hard question. I think we just, like, love these women so much. We respect them. But, I mean, everyone can improve.
Longer jackets, maybe, so you'd be a bit warmer.
Yeah.
So cold. I'm obsessed with how cold you are on set. I
But
was
it's
talking
got
to Emily
better.
about it.
Would you not agree? It's got
Yeah.
better. They have listened.
They've listened to
I even wore UGG boots this year.
Yeah.
That was nice. I was like, I can even fit toe warmers in here.
have a nose ring. Wow.
Everyone's like, yes.
Tattoos, we've got it all
really
going
want-
on.
I
We're
really
kind of like...
Maybe
Chop
just
your
get a
hair off.
tattoo,
Chop your
chop all
hair
my
off,
hair
all
off.
sorts.
Yeah.
And another question rather than shouting out. So can we go back, because it's going to be easy to get to you. We just had your hand up, and then we'll go to the awesome coloured hair there.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
We've learned that Waverly's vegan, and I wanted to know if it was something that you talked about with the writers or just something that came like that.
A bit of both. Emily had already written in that she was veggie, and then I was like, we need to change this line from a cheese sandwich to a falafel because I want to promote veganism. And everyone was like, yeah, sure. It's like totally the type of thing. We're very lucky that they care about that kind of thing. I mean, there's been loads of cool stuff that I've noticed, even scenes that I haven't been in, that I'm like, that's amazing. Like when when her mum's doing the washing up, her mum, our mum, Michelle's doing the washing up, and she's like, what does she say? Help me out.
She says, clearly you haven't seen an inconvenient truth, or something like that.
Something like that, about the amount of water she's using doing her thing.
Or
And I'm
clearly
just
they didn't screen in prison, and something like that.
Exactly, yeah. It's but yeah, it's a collaboration of awesomeness.
It's like the most inclusive show for everybody. LGBTQ, veganism, like, you know,
All the stuff.
Bring us
all the
everyone.
things that
Yeah,
matter.
all of the letters of the alphabet. So can we go to the lady with the coloured hair just there? And then we're going to kind of like switch around and kind of like, it's like an auction.
Hello.
You should all be paying me. Sorry.
Firstly, thank you very much for coming over. This is my first Earper con.
Welcome to the family.
Questions for Dom. When are we going to hear that deep South accent?
Great question.
Okay,
I wish I had the script. I remember it was about Dolls was called something else in the script. I remember it's like, oh, what was it?
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time
She
ago.
was shooting demons. The thing about demons is...
Don't you remember the audition sites?
Yeah.
She
I
was
mean,
at the
that
bar
a
and she
long
was
time
like,
ago.
how long?
It was almost there.
Wasn't it?
It's gone. It's so long ago.
You know what would be hilarious is if we got those tapes out and watched both yours and my Winona audition.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it would be like the worst thing in
And I
the
auditioned
world.
for you.
That's brilliant.
Whoa.
Can you imagine?
Third time a charm,
Do you remember
though.
what my audition was?
What it was?
Besides?
Not a clue.
It was in a car with
Yes.
dolls eating peanuts. Wasn't it? Trail mix?
Yeah, but something in... Yeah. I'll look at us.
My
Poor you
God,
guys.
we're really good.
It's
Yeah.
like fragments. You're coming back.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they still have those tapes.
I think they do.
They've got to live somewhere. I feel like I've seen a bit of Mel's of
Yeah.
Winona,
She's
like
got
on
blonde
some
hair.
special feature or something, but no words.
No.
Mel's
Maybe
doesn't
maybe
need
we'll get the
words.
courage one day to just be
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
okay, just give it.
Okay, we've got some more questions. So can we come back down to the front here? Sorry, I know you're going to do all your steps today, all 10,000 of them. And
Hi.
then we go back down.
Hello. So my question is, when you got the script for season 3, what was a sentence that you read and you were like, okay, I have to give that one 100%?
These are like the best.
I'm here and I stay. Yeah. Makes me like, think about it. Yeah.
Mine was that scene with Nedley when Nicole kind of realizes that he was almost, he had such a father figure to her, but where he's been there the whole time, that it was you was the line, or yeah. And I think that was one scene where I just thought, oh, I really just want to be there in my body, present in that moment. It was beautiful. Yeah, thanks.
That's a nice scene.
Okay, back down there, the lady that's waving. Lady that's waving there with the... It's a great episode for you. Like, in the middle, like, look to your 10, 12 o'clock. What is that? That's like 11 o'clock? There we go.
Hi girls, I just want to say thank you so much for being inspirational women on social media, and also thank you for being amazing activists of human rights and animal rights. As you're such incredible and you've affected everybody, whether it's LGBT or, you know, being themselves and not hiding behind closed doors, what female has inspired you as an activist?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's not a Wayhaught Earper question.
I mean, I have to say, like, growing up, I watched Oprah with my mom like every day after school. I think she's absolutely incredible. I think she paved the way for women of color, for like she has an empire. I mean, the woman could be president of the United States, I think, if she really wanted to.
I think she said that once, didn't she?
Yeah,
she talked about potentially.
Yeah, she did actually.
I think Oprah was a huge inspiration for me, and I know she's a huge inspiration for millions of people, but I think seeing that growing up and coming home every day to this woman who had her own show, was like unapologetically asking tough questions and featuring stories that didn't get heard. And I think another one for me is Ellen. Ellen was a huge like inspiration for me, just that she was funny and she just promoted like love and kindness. That's kind of her deal. Got to go to the Ellen DeGeneres show. I won a washer dryer. Yeah.
Amazing.
It was awesome. Yeah.
And Dom?
And for me, my only real inspiration when I was growing up, which was feminist inspiration, was the Spice Girls. And I feel actually very lucky that we had the Spice Girls, because even though they're nowhere near where we're at right now in terms of feminism, it was like a humongous turn. And I remember my mum just being so grateful that I had that band to like show me that like you could be a like out there woman and just like say outrageous things and be kind of unapologetically badass. And that there were, I mean, really, when you think about it, it was like, it showed you that like there was all different kinds of women, and you could be like, you know what I mean? You could be kind of whatever your true soul was, sort of thing. So that was my main kind of like media inspiration when I was child feminism. And then my granny, who was
As an
amazing.
activist, I just want to say thank you so much for
Thank you.
fighting up with us.
Thank
God bless
you so
you.
much. I really appreciate it.
Can we go across the aisle to the one in the front in the purple, and then the one with the thing? I'm losing it. I need a coffee.
Okay, do you want some of this?
Hi. I have a question. Do you have, sorry, my English is not so good. Do you have any funny childhood stories which your parents maybe told you, like, don't swallow the bubble gum because your stomach will glue together, or anything funny?
Like things they lied to us about to keep us from...
exactly.
Yep, I do. You do? Yep.
I don't. My mum and dad were very honest.
My parents, I mean, I get why they did it. I really wanted a horse growing up. I wanted to horseback ride, and they lied to me and told me that you had to own a horse to ride a horse, and that we couldn't afford it, which we couldn't, so I wasn't able to horseback ride, but I didn't know till after that you could just take lessons on someone else's horse. And I was like, you guys lied to me.
That's so sad. I had lessons. I had 2 lessons, but I didn't. I know, but this is what's so sad about it. I really didn't want to go, and I was like, Dad. But the thing that's funny is that we lived on like at one point in my life, my dad...
On that farm.
Yeah.
It's like my dream.
Yeah, well, my dad bought this like abandoned wreck that really was like kind of unlivable, but we lived in it for a bit. When my mum and dad broke up, it was an amazing experience. No, it really was. My dad's actually coming tomorrow, and I was like, oh, this is a shame. I know.
Oh my God, I can't wait to meet him.
I know. I'm going to be so nervous. It's going to be ridiculous. Like, I'm literally going to be like,
Is your granny going to come?
No, just my dad. But anyway, he bought a farm. What was I talking about?
Things your parents lied to you about.
Oh, no, he didn't lie to me about it, but... horses.
You had that neighbor's...
Horses. You were talking about horses.
So then, yeah.
This is going so well, by the way. I just want to
You're like, this is just what happens on panels that we're on. No, but so she was just like, there was these horses that were like next door, and this woman was like, a young girl, that will be a good idea. Get her into horses, and then she'll muck out my stables. And like...
I would have mucked that
Yeah, I
stable.
know.
I would have been there at 3 in the morning taking up that shit.
And she would have been like, yes, winning. But I was like,
That's like all I wanted. I was like, Mom, maybe you can drive me, because we live in the suburbs. I was like, maybe you can drive me out and I can like volunteer, and then in exchange I can ride the horse. I used to like cluck my bike along.
Oh. Someone buy this woman a horse.
oh my God, this is so good.
And like you're in a Western, but they don't have horses.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a sad.
So you hated it.
But the thing is that was, so I was like, Dad, she bought me lessons for my birthday. And I was like, oh, bloody hell, do I have to go horse riding? I was a dancer, right? So I was like, this is not, they don't match, like the dancing and horse riding don't really go together. But,
Do they not?
because I just, well, they don't, because I then went and I got given this crazy horse that was like the most manic energy I've ever experienced. And I got thrown off the horse the first lesson and broke my arm, and it was a whole big thing. Like, it went up like this, and then it went down like that, and my dad was watching. I'll never forget it. He was like cantering around. Like,
You were cantering on
Yeah.
your first day. That was the mistake.
I know.
Yeah. Not on your part, on whoever was teaching you.
Yeah. Brits are crazy. We canter on our first thing.
No, you're fine.
And then we were going around, and I remember my dad's face, and he was like, "You enjoying it?" And I was like, "Ah." And then it went, "Nee," and like that, and then put its head down, and then I roly-polied off its head and splatted onto the ground and broke my arm. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can have horse. You can
Yeah,
have
I
that.
broke my wrist on a horse.
You still love
Okay.
that much.
I love him that much.
Sorry, we're talking too much.
No,
about
no, I was just like, I was wondering, has anyone got a Winona Earp related question? Just because this is great, but I'm getting paid for kind of like, no, I'm just kidding. You can ask anything. I think they can ask anything, right?
Sorry if I
yeah,
talk
ask
too much about my
anything. You
horse
can ask
riding experiences.
childhood
We've
stuff
got,
is
yeah,
fun.
let's
Okay,
get
good.
another question before this descends into complete
Madness.
go.
Sorry.
I don't have any questions, but I want to say big thanks, and sorry, my intro. I'm Lily from Hungary, and I make designs for t-shirts, and I want to say thanks for you guys, especially Wayhaught, because you give me the wings and inspire me to make more designs. And I also, sorry about my English, I get nervous.
I do not speak another language, so you're doing excellent. I'm very impressed.
So I made a kind of shelter on Facebook for Hungarian lesbians, which fans of yours, and I translating things for them, and I want them to know everything, like everything about you two and Wayhaught and everything, and that's why kind of like I started to make designs, because I got you, Wayhaught, and I got the Earpers who they were asking for designs. And that's why I started all these things. And since last year, October, I got back to my computer and I started to make designs. And you guys are just totally inspirational. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It gives people's careers. Okay, can we go to the lady with the blonde hair who's got her arm up, wave, and then we're going to come to the, got like a stripy top or something on.
Hello. Hello. So I know you said that how you prepare for scenes sometimes is you listen to different types of music.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you do to prepare for it?
It depends what the scene is. Always different. Like some scenes, I'm sure you would agree.
Absolutely.
You work for hours on them, and then some scenes it just feels more natural and normal to
Or
kind
like where you are that day too.
Yeah.
Some days you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't have it today.
Yeah.
That like attachment to the emotion is just, it's not as immediate.
Yeah, and it depends how much you can relate already to the scene. Like if you read a scene and you're like, ooh, I get that, I understand that, I've lived that, or, or if you're like, I need to do a lot of work to understand where this person is at this moment, to try and connect to it. And there's all different tools. I use personally, I trained in a bunch of different styles and was like, I don't necessarily believe that there's one craft, that there's one journey that has all of the right answers. For me personally, it's like a little bit of method, a little bit of Meisner, there's a toolbox that you can kind of pull from whenever you need it, sort of thing. Like if that's not working that day.
I think the
I'll
biggest thing, if
definitely
there's any people who are actors in the room, the biggest thing, and I see people get stuck in this all the time, especially in LA, is people follow acting teachers like gurus.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so dangerous. I really feel like if you want to build a house, you don't just bring your hammer. And I think, like, as you said, you know. Yeah.
That's very cool. I'm going to remember that. Did you make that?
I think I did, or maybe I heard it somewhere else. I don't know. I think so. But yeah, you need different tools.
Yeah.
It's nothing ever works every day. And I see actors who have followed a teacher for like 15 years. And then they're stuck, and then they wonder why. I'm like, isn't it obvious to you? Yeah.
You should have graduated by now. It's been 15 years.
Yeah.
We had another question. Go. Yeah, you first with you've got lovely stripes. Running out of the way to do this. Oh, it was for someone else. Okay, yeah, you go. Okay.
I've got a question for Dom. I was wondering how much time you spend in England and what you miss most when you're not here.
Aww, yay, I get to talk about England. I'll try not to talk too much about horses and stuff. How much time do I spend in England now? It varies. I'm now going to be sticking around for a month, which will be nice. Going back to Bristol to see the family. Oh, there's a woot woot. Get a little woot woot in there. I got extremely excited about the fact that one of the volunteers is from Bristol, and then I got all of the cast to be like, so this is the accent of where I'm from. Just talk. And she was like, because I think, to tell you the truth, when I left when I left England, I personally, nothing to do with England, but I wasn't in a great place. And for a little while, I went to Canada, and it was almost like I could finally be who I wanted to be, and I could reinvent myself. I don't know if anyone's ever had the experience of moving abroad, but suddenly you get there and you realize that nobody knows who you are, so they're not expecting anything from you. So however you want to be, you can just be it, and they'll accept it. And at the first, I was kind of still in the shell, and then I was like, oh, hang on a minute, this is kind of like this big release. And it's been a big old journey, and thanks to Winona for bringing me away. And then I fell in love with the experience of living abroad. And so since Winona started, so what are we now, 3 years ago? 4 years ago.
Can't be 4.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So it's a long time. So then when I'd come back, I would feel a little bit like, oh, like I'm going back into my shell, and I don't really know how to, and I would kind of like judge it, and in a negative way, but that was only my own stuff that I was projecting onto it. And now, this time I've come back, and I've been like, oh, England! Look at the beautiful architecture, and the tea, and like I'm seeing it through a new set of glasses, which is like, it wasn't England, it was that I couldn't be myself here for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And now I'm like, I went to see my best friend Claire yesterday, and we just like sat and had 4 cups of tea in a row. And I was just like, this is like just literally sat in our pajamas being like, should we have another one? Should we just have another one? And I was like, oh, it's the best. So I think it will vary. I will probably come back a little bit more now, I would imagine. And what do I miss most? Tea, I guess.
Sounds like tea is the answer.
Tea, yeah.
Is it different?
And a nice pint with my dad at the pub, and a packet of crisps that we share. And we always do the thing where my dad always was very big into sharing. So like you open it and then you know, flip it over and have the packet of crisps, and we'd both be like really not wanting to take the last crisp and like breaking it in half because we're too polite. But yeah.
Oh my God, can't wait to meet your dad.
Oh, he's great. He's also good. So I'm going to be so nervous.
We have some more questions? Yeah, can we come down the front? Yeah, you've got a mic coming to you now.
Hi, my question is for Dom. It's been written that... yeah, I'm here.
Oh, no, sorry. I was like,
no, I'm here. It's been written that Nicole is essentially the reason that Waverly found out that she liked girls, but do you think that if she hadn't have met Nicole, would it have taken her a lot longer to realise that this part about herself? And was it anything to I know it was probably like to do with like where she was, but do you think it might have, like, what do you think?
Taken longer.
Yeah. I am finally giving in life to the idea that things come at certain times to aid you along your path. And I think that it was like the universe's way of giving Waverley like this is something that you cannot say no to. And when I read it, I was like, this is so beautiful, because literally Nicole walks in and is like, this is what's up. And you're like, oh shit, I have no choice, you know? It's like if it had been different, like if Nicole had been a different energy or a different person, perhaps she wouldn't have like been so overwhelmed by it, and she would have been able to push it out a bit more. But the way that I wrote it or played it was that it's certainly not the first time that Waverley has thought about women. I think that with bisexuality, it is always present, or certainly was for Waverley for probably her whole life since she can remember. And that it was like the catalyst to basically go, oh, guess I'm going to have to deal with this now. And in the beautiful kind of fate way, it came in the form of a sexy cop. Yeah.
That gets me. Sexy cop. Okay. Got question down here. Do we have who's going to earn their steps next? You are. Well done.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm awake.
Okay.
Still.
Yeah.
I've still got lollipops. Right. My question is, I've asked everybody else, is what would you want for your character in season 4? Can we have the engagement first?
I would really like to see, I'm excited for what is happening.
She was stood in front of the camera before that.
I'm excited to see Nicole and Winona try to work out, because they're both kind of now the heads of their department, to kind of work out what that's going to look like. I'm really interested. I hope for more butting of heads, because I love that. I would like to see, this is an unpopular answer, but I would like to see a darker side of Nicole. Yeah.
An unpopular answer.
I guess not. I was afraid you guys were going to be like, no! But I would love to see her go bad or something, you know, like a spell or something. I just want to see what she does under that. It would be interesting.
It's a hard question for me, because I honestly feel like I could not have written Waverley's journey better. Like, it's just, there are no words, clearly. It's excelled anything I could ever imagine, and every season I think it's gonna, I'm like, this will be a season where she's like super chill and in the background, and then I have an amazing journey, amazing arc. So I'm kind of like always just like, do whatever you want with me. But I think that it would be, I feel like Waverley has been a humongous inspiration to me as a person, and I feel like we have, in many ways, been living parallel lives of like acceptance and discovery and all those beautiful things, and becoming the women that we want to be. It feels weird I'm talking about her like she is a person. But so I would like that to continue, and just for her to gain strength and perhaps get a nose ring or
get a tattoo,
or just like just kind of be like, maybe I can step into something that's just a little bit more brave and just continue along that journey in whatever form that would take. Awesome. In the writer's eyes.
You have a question? Yeah, great. Got a question over there.
Hi. Is this on? Yeah. Hi. So we were just at the Mel meet and greet, and she had this whole discussion about whether, like, if Julian came back with like Mama Up and stuff, Like, what do you guys think would be like the sort of, how do you think that would affect like Wynonna and Waverley's relationship if like Julian came into the situation?
That's a fun question. I didn't hear the question. If Julian came back, tell me if I'm doing this right. If Julian came back, how do you think that would affect everyone, the sisters?
Yeah,
and
kind of
Waverley?
everyone, to be honest, yeah. But like Waverley and Wynonna and like their dynamic.
Yeah. That's a good question, isn't it?
I didn't have that one written down.
No. No. What do I think? I think that, no. I think that Waverley deserves to know who Julian is. And I think that for all of last season, she was in this like intense turmoil of like not knowing any of her history and like trying to get to the bottom of it, and the fact that it was then not concluded, and it was just like heartbreaking for me as well. I was like, oh, but I want to know so badly, like who is Waverley really? Because I think that it would have been nice to have her questions answered, and I think that it would be a very positive thing for her to be able to fill in those blanks. And I think it would be interesting. I don't know what Wynonna, how it would affect Wynonna and Waverley's relationship. I think my instinct is telling me that they've got to a place where Wynonna would just be so happy for Waverley. Like, not happy, but would just be like, regardless of the outcome and whatever, it would just be more of a, it doesn't affect, I don't think it would affect the sister relationship as much anymore, because they've got past the fact that she's not really an Earp and all of that. Like, it doesn't mean anything, because our bond is so much stronger, and family comes from something much deeper than that, and everybody in this room knows that, right? It's not about blood to make a family. So I think that it wouldn't necessarily be a negative. It certainly wouldn't be a negative. It would just be like, and yet another thing that we have to deal with.
We shall see in season 4.
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll see, maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, cool. Hopefully.
We've got a question back there. Whichever one you were putting your hand up for. There, that one. Go! Run like
You're doing a marvellous job, by the way, running the microphone. Thank you.
But I just want to say thank you so much first. And if Alice was around, what do you think Waverley and Nicole would be like as like aunts?
Oh, as aunts. Alice. Yeah, that's a really good question.
We'd be the best. We'd be the best aunties ever.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having Waverley and Nicole as aunties?
No.
You'd be like, sorry, Mum, I'm just going to go over to their house.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time, for sure. I think we would do like a lot of fun outings too. I think we would do like
activities,
adventure things.
Yeah. Well, I think that I would basically like replicate what my granny used to do for me every Wednesday when we went round. My granny's amazing. She's this beautiful British fairy. For real. Not even joking. She dresses up she used to go to festivals and dress up as a fairy and hold around a sign saying, "There are fairies at the bottom of your garden." Awesome! Because she's amazing. She's a magical woman, and I used to go around on a Wednesday, and she would have already measured out all of the like baking into different like flour, and all of the different things were on the table ready for like a baking session. And then there was a colouring corner that she would get all of the things out. She would have made like different activities for us to do with like cutting and sticking and all of the stuff. It was like, isn't that what Waverley would do? Like, to a T. Yeah. She's a planner.
Waverley's
Thinks
a planner.
ahead.
Yeah, a nerve too. Okay, so one question. Sorry, you have to come all the way down. Oh, yep. Can we come down here and then we'll go back to you? Sorry, I'm just trying to get like everyone
It's all good.
as fit as possible. Right.
Right, my question is about the Start the Waves. How did it make you feel when the people started to find interest in it, and it started to spread, and the people became vegan. Can't think as well. And we're interested in what you did in the development.
Yeah, thanks.
Wait, need to sign it.
Oh, amazing. This is the best.
I love
love
sign
it.
language so much.
I know, it's always been a
so
dream of mine
amazing
to learn.
me.
It's always it's always such a pleasure to hear from you, Joe. Thank you for your lovely question. I'm getting distracted by your amazing sign language. Sorry. No, it's great. I am just blown away, to be honest with you. But then, on another sense, it makes complete and utter sense, because if there's one community of people that were going to be open to listen, it's these amazing Earpers who are just such wonderfully kind people. And yeah, it's been a journey with it, and I'm actually really excited because I feel like I needed to get to a certain point in my journey to then really know how it's going to move forward, and I feel like I'm just getting to that place, and I'm working on something really exciting that's about to happen and launch, and I think it's been like the perfect warm-up for what's to come, and I've been working with a lovely volunteer, and there's just so many kind, wonderful people out there that want to get involved, and so I'm very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
We had one. I know there's loads more hands, but we've only got time for one more question. And someone put their hand up at the back earlier on. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose.
Woo!
I just want to be fair. Like, you've got, yeah. Make it a good one, because it's the last question. No
Okay. So, oh my God. Hi.
Hello.
And I wanted to ask you, because you're playing, of course, those gorgeous roles, I wanted to ask you if you see some traits in those characters you're playing. So, like, I don't know, kind of trait, how should I put it? Yeah, something you see, what's similar, you know, what you're doing and what they're doing, like.
Like with our characters as
Yes.
humans and our characters.
us.
Yeah, some similarities.
Thank you.
I think for myself, I think Nicole can be very guarded, and I think also I too can walk through life like protecting myself a little bit. I think that's one thing we have in common is like just wanting to appear strong and be the strong one, and not accept help from other people. And I think that is a trait that I think we share, Nicole and I. Yeah.
Beautiful. Many things, I would say, with Waverley and I. Although I sometimes wonder whether I just put them all in there and that it wasn't actually written, and then Emily was like, oh, I guess I have to... Do you know what I mean?
It's hard to know.
It's hard to know how much you like bring of yourself, because that's just what feels natural when you read it. But no, certainly in terms of character traits, I would say that Waverley is a people pleaser in the best way, in the way that she will always put other people first and worry about everyone else before herself. And I would say that is something that I definitely share with her. Yeah, that's one answer, and that's all. That's all I need to say.
We have run out of time on this panel. I'm sorry. I know there's loads more hands going up, but I just want to thank Dominic and Catherine and all of you guys for some awesome questions. There'll be more panels tomorrow, and you've got to go and do loads of more exciting things, and I'm going to go and clap.
Thank you so much for coming, guys.